care. I care.
New video this morning taking us moment by moment through the siege, the standoff, and its explosive end.
And the 5 fallen heroes, what we know about the officers slain in Dallas, and a profile of the shooter. New details are emerging about the Army veteran who carried out the horrific attacks.
He wanted to kill white people, especially white officers.
An arsenal discovered in the gunman's home and a vendetta for police.
This guy lived around the corner from me and was willing to take people's lives that he didn't even know.
President Obama responding to the deadly attack, cutting his European visit short as the candidates weigh in.
We must stand in solidarity with law enforcement.
There is too much violence, too much hate.
And
you're gonna shoot me! That's all I need to know!
More clashes with police as protests erupt overnight.
We've got to stay in the streets!
This morning, we have complete coverage.
From ABC News, live in New York, this is Good Morning America.
And good morning, everyone. Let's get right to the new developments in the massacre of those 5 police officers in Dallas, an act of madness that has injected a whole new level of anger and fear into America's already fraught debate over race and law enforcement.
Overnight, large street demonstrations have been going on in cities across our country. The protest movement against fatal police shootings of black people is not slowing down, even after the events in Dallas where 5 officers were murdered. And the tension is evident. We want you to look at this social video from an overnight demonstration in Baton Rouge. You can see an officer pulling his gun on protesters.
In some places, though, communities are really coming together. This indelible image out of Dallas, a police car there blanketed in flowers.
And this morning we are getting new video and new eyewitness accounts of the fear as well as the heroism during the shooting in Dallas. We have team coverage this morning, and we do begin with ABC's Matt Gutman right there on the ground in downtown Dallas. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Paula. That fear and heroism you mentioned was intensified by the fact that that night officials here in the city were convinced that they were under siege by an unknown number of gunmen. Now that they know that it was a lone gunman, they're focusing on investigating how he did this and patching the city back together.
Oh, it's a sniper from up here somewhere.
It's a sniper? This morning, as agents comb the streets for evidence, they're learning more about the gunman.
There was confusion with everybody running around, but this was a mobile shooter
who police say began blasting away shortly after this peaceful demonstration in Dallas on Thursday. As the gunfire ricochets, hundreds scatter. Some hide between cars. A woman runs, pushing a baby carriage. As police lunged for cover and tried to find the shooter, they started to go down.
Code 3, officer down. Shots fired, officer down. We got a guy with a long rifle, we don't know where the hell he's at.
Dallas PD shutting down the airspace over town, thinking this was an ambush with multiple shooters.
Somebody's really armed to the teeth. This is not one person.
But it was one shooter, Micah Xavier Johnson.
Mr. Johnson had written manifestos on how to shoot and move.
You see him in this video advancing with deadly efficiency on this officer. Firing, the officer gunned down. The toll? 14 shot, 12 of them officers. 5 of the officers died. Towards midnight, SWAT teams finally cornered Johnson on the 2nd floor of El Centro College.
The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers.
Negotiations break down, and police use an explosive mounted on a robot similar to this one to kill Johnson for the first time in history. The crime scene enormous, spanning 20 city blocks. The shooter was about 100 yards away. Still, he was able to hit this squad car. You see bullet holes here and down there, and on the other side of the car, he actually managed to shoot out the tires. The tensions here still high as we interviewed the chief of the Dallas area Rapid Transit Police, who lost one of his officers in the attack. A man approaches from behind, making that shooting motion into the chief's back. It was a pretty jarring moment, and directly afterwards I challenged the chief about how he felt about it. He said all officers right now feel vulnerable regardless of their race, and we probably should note that the officers that night displayed incredible restraint. Hundreds of officers involved in that chaotic shootout, but only 12 of them discharged their weapons. Paula.
That was a jarring and disturbing moment right there, Matt. Thank you. We do want to move now To the investigation focusing on the gunman, 25-year-old Micah Johnson. He was a former Army reservist, and this morning the AP as well as the New York Times are reporting Johnson was accused of sexual assault by a female soldier when he served in Afghanistan. He reportedly received an honorable discharge for reasons his military lawyer says he doesn't understand. And ABC's senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas joins us now from Washington with more on what we're learning about the gunman. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Paula. The suspect's motive disturbing: racial hatred and simmering bitterness for police.
Authorities say this is the deadly sniper, Micah Xavier Johnson, a former military man who went hunting for police, specifically white officers.
One officer down.
There appears to have been one gunman with no known links to or inspiration from any international terrorist organization.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News Johnson was armed for his shooting spree with an assault rifle and 2 handguns.
It's been a tale of cowardice by an assassin.
Johnson served in the Army Reserve from 2009 to 2015, doing a tour in Afghanistan. According to police, his Facebook page reveals some of that rage against police. He liked the page which said, "Kill everything blue that moves." Overnight, police searched Johnson's home in Mesquite, Texas. They say they found bomb-making materials, ballistic vests, rifle, and a personal journal on combat tactics.
This was a well-planned, well-thought-out, evil tragedy.
Neighbors in this quiet suburb of Dallas were stunned that the killer was living among them.
This guy lived around the corner from me and was willing to take people's lives that he didn't even know. You know, it's scary.
Micah's sister took to Facebook writing, "The news will say what they think, but those who knew him know this wasn't like him."
While there's no sign of a wider plot, police continue digging into Johnson's background, searching for anyone who might have supported him, especially black supremacists. No evidence of that so far, but police in Dallas and around the nation remaining on alert. Paula.
And Pierre, how pivotal is this time in our country right now?
This is a defining moment. You have routine encounters between black men and police turning deadly, like that tragic case in Minnesota. At the same time this year, the number of officers killed by guns in the line of duty is up 44%. That's a complicated mix.
Very complicated, Pierre. Thank you. Dan?
Complicated and combustible mix. Pierre Thomas, thank you. There is a real debate this morning about the apparently unprecedented decision by police in Dallas to take the shooter out using a robot. So let's bring in ABC's crime and terror analyst, Brad Garrett. Brad's also a former FBI agent. Brad, good morning. Police in Dallas said they made this decision because, quote, other options would have exposed our officers to great danger. So do you support the use of a robot in this case?
Yes, and the reason why, Dan, is that I don't think they could eliminate that he had explosives. Obviously, he was lethal. He had already killed a number of officers. So what are your options? Send a SWAT team in, maybe get one of them hurt, or send a robot in, knowing you're going to have to ultimately kill him anyway.
But why not simply wait him out? At some point, he's going to need to sleep or eat or something like that. Why not wait him out for a couple more hours? This is the argument that some are advancing this morning.
Of course, they did wait him out for 5 hours, and I think reached a point where this is not going to get any better, and so we're going to have to end this. Because, you know, the issue is going to be he's apparently in a parking garage. Could he shoot somebody else? And the answer is probably yes.
Some people this morning are worried about the precedent this decision may set, about the militarization of our police departments, about the blurring of the line between policing and warfare, and about the fact that the argument goes the further you remove officers from the use of lethal force, the easier it may become. So do you share any of those concerns?
I only share that it's used in situations like this. Clearly, Dan, in any terrorist or extremist takeover situation where the person's not going to come out and it's clear that you're going to have to go in and get them, why not at least use a device where no one else is going to get hurt?
Yeah, but others worry about a slippery slope here. Brad Garrett, we appreciate your analysis this morning. Thank you very much.
And we are remembering those 5 officers who lost their lives in Dallas, and we're learning more about the men who died in the line of duty.
Lives cut short in a senseless act of violence, leaving distraught families behind. And ABC's Philip Mena with that part of the story. Philip, good morning to you.
Dan, Paula, good morning. Yeah, this is what just rips your heart out, seeing these flowers and balloons and messages of love and gratitude to the fallen heroes of this city.
Overnight, a growing memorial outside police headquarters in Dallas.
a tribute to the heroes. 5 officers killed in the line of duty, police say at the hands of a sniper. This morning, we're learning their names. 32-year-old Patrick Zamaripa, a young husband and father to a 2-year-old girl. He survived 3 tours in Iraq. 40-year-old Michael Kroll, his mother saying he was living a dream of being a police officer. He knew the danger of the job, but he never shied away from his duty. 55-year-old Michael Smith, a 26-year veteran of the force. Lauren Ahrens, he served for 14 years. And Brent Thompson, the first Dallas Transit cop to die in the line of duty. He was a newlywed, married just 2 weeks ago. His wife, also a DART officer, now a widow. And this morning, many of the survivors in blue also being hailed as heroes. Video from that horrific night showing countless officers running toward the gunfire, keeping protesters out of harm's way. Civilians also displaying heroics, like Shatamia Taylor, the mother shot while shielding her son, both surviving the gunfire. Taylor's sister describing the hail of bullets police braved to get her.
She said it was about 5 minutes before cops even got to her and pulled her from the area where she was because the shots were coming so fast.
Many of the victims rushed to Baylor University Medical Center.
You see the police officers in the ER, they're supporting each other, hugging each other, the tears, some family members. You realize what a tragedy this is.
I tried to really maintain my emotions, but in my car is when I really, it hit me. My husband's a police officer in Dallas.
Since yesterday, loved ones and strangers have been coming down here to police headquarters to silently reflect and show their gratitude to those fallen officers. Paula.
All right, Philip, thank you. And one of the officers killed in the line of duty was Officer Patrick Zamaripa, a 5-year police veteran. Right now, we are joined by his mother, Valerie, as well as his godson, Amado Martinez. First of all, I just can't express our condolences enough. We're so sorry about this tragedy. Valerie, can you tell us how your family is holding up right now?
Well as can be so far. It's pretty tough and really hard to grasp.
I want to ask you about the type of man that Patrick was. I know that he leaves behind a 2-year-old daughter named Lincoln. What will you tell her about her father, and how do you ensure that his legacy lives on?
I will definitely make sure that she knows what a great, humble person and special, very special man that he was.
Amado, I want to ask you, you're 19. He was your godfather, and you said that he was the policeman of the family. How so?
He was always my big brother, essentially. He would always protect me from them teasing me and them pushing me around, and he'd always have the moral compass to always keep us on the right path.
And Valerie, I want to go back to Patrick. He served 3 tours in Iraq, and now he was serving in Dallas. What did this country, what did his local community mean to him?
He loved his community, and even though he lived here in Fort Worth, he worked in Dallas, but he stayed involved and just always making sure that everybody was okay and doing what he needed to do to make everybody happy.
Did you ever worry about your son's safety?
Oh, yes. Every day that he went to work, when I knew that he was working, I prayed, and if we heard of something going on, we were all on standby, just alert.
We really want to thank you for taking the time. I know this is a really tough time for your family, Valerie, and we want to thank you both for joining us, and again, our condolences for your extraordinary loss.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You heard it there, just an extraordinary family man, and now that family has the burden of raising that child that he leaves behind, as well as a stepson, but ensuring that that little girl, Lincoln, knows who her father was and that he lost his life in the line of duty.
Really thinking about that little girl this morning. As we said at the top of the show, despite the attack on the officers in Dallas, the protest movement against police killings of black people is at full force. Thousands of demonstrators hitting the streets overnight all over America. This as we learn more about those 2 high-profile police shootings in recent days, one in Louisiana, the other in Minnesota. ABC's Gio Benitez is in Minneapolis with more this morning. Gio, good morning to you.
Dan, good morning to you. Demonstrators are camping out here at the Minnesota's governor's mansion. They, like millions of others, want their voices heard.
Black Lives Matter!
Overnight, massive protests across the nation, from Atlanta to Phoenix, where protesters were met with pepper spray, to Baton Rouge,
They're gonna shoot me! Are y'all gonna shoot me?
to Minnesota, where the Reverend Jesse Jackson made an appearance.
As for this execution here a few days ago, our brother will live as long as we remember him.
You're still here protesting. Why?
We're serious. We need a change before even more things start to happen, worse things.
They are protesting the shooting deaths of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, two high-profile police shootings igniting a nationwide firestorm, one showing a close-up killing in front of a Louisiana convenience store, the other broadcast live on Facebook from Minnesota.
Told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license.
Philando Castile's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, who was in the car during the traffic stop, along with her young daughter,
it's okay, I'm right here with you.
Capturing the aftermath. That's Officer Geronimo Yanez pointing his gun into the car just moments after shooting Castile. This morning, she and the family of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge are uniting in their messages to the families of those officers killed in Dallas.
It hurts me what's going on in Dallas because nobody should have to be taken away from their families.
And here in Minnesota, the county attorney is now deciding whether to use a grand jury to determine if those officers should face any charges. Dan and Paula.
Unfortunately, united in our grief, this country is. Gio, thank you. And coming up, we're going to hear how the presidential candidates are reacting to these events.
Yeah, but there is other news this morning, including severe weather, so let's get it over to Rob. Hey, Rob.
Hi, Dan. Several pockets of severe weather during the day yesterday. We start you off in Michigan, where winds over 65 miles an hour did some damage, knocking out power and taking down a lot of trees from Lansing into Detroit. And at the height of that, over 60,000 people without power. Also across parts of North Carolina, 85-mile-an-hour winds close to the mountains there in Asheville, and also in through Charlotte. A lot of tree damage, and also thousands of people without power during the height of the storm. And there's a lightning strike right at the airport. 375 storm reports right along I-40. Also, there's Michigan and a couple in central New Jersey, where there were some strong storms yesterday afternoon. Today, we're going to see a threat for severe weather again along the Delaware and through New Jersey and parts of eastern Pennsylvania. A little backdoor front keeping things cool from Boston to New York, maybe knocking down that threat, at least during the daytime hours. And then across the northern plains, this is an area not only today, but tomorrow we'll see some damaging winds, potentially an isolated tornado. Out to the west we go. It's heating up. We've got wind advisories, so fire weather watches, red flag warnings. Look at some of these numbers. In Salt Lake City, 100 degrees. You could touch that today. 96 degrees in Denver, and a strong trough across the Pacific Northwest, kind of cranking up some of these winds with a strong high pressure right across the Four Corners region today. 70 degrees in Portland, Oregon. Normally we get to summer around July 5th. This year is more like Seattle around July 10th or 15th, and across Orlando, 97 degrees. Here now, your local forecast.
Good Saturday morning. Meteorologist Veronica Johnson here. Today's high 93, still going to be sticky, and there could be an isolated thunderstorm coming our way during the mid-afternoon hours. The evening, though, gorgeous and turning less humid. And as far as tomorrow goes, it's just going to be absolutely gorgeous. Pleasant conditions as the humidity levels drop. Your average high now 89 will certainly be there tomorrow and the early part of next week. Humidity returns Tuesday, and also the chance of rain by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
July 4th is over. We're into it. It's the heat of summer, and we're going to crank things up. The climate forecast for the next 2 weeks coming up in about 10 minutes. I know you're a fan of the heat, Ron, so that's for you.
Not really.
Okay.
You know, Ron is a fan of, and it's time to check in with you. But apparently, we have a winner in the Mega Millions.
Yeah,
not you.
It's not you. It's not Dan. It's not Rob. But there is a winner of the Mega Millions lottery draw that was last night. That one ticket matching all 6 numbers for the $540 million jackpot. It was bought in Indiana. Those numbers, 8, 19, 20, 55, and 73 with the Mega Ball number 5.
Could you read those again? Hold on.
You want that? 8, 19, 20, 55, 73, and Mega Ball 5. Maybe you have the Mega Ball.
Maybe.
But that's about it. It's the 7th largest lottery prize in U.S. history and the most ever won in a single Mega Millions ticket. Keep playing if you want to win. To Utah, where a person infected with the Zika virus has died. The CDC saying that this is the first Zika-related death in the continental U.S., but add that the patient who traveled outside of the country had an underlying medical condition. Meanwhile, pro golfer Dustin Johnson, the #2 ranked golfer in the world, he withdrew from the Rio Olympics because of concerns about Zika. And in Texas, 4 people were killed when a small plane that they were in crashed and burst into flames, narrowly missing homes. The aircraft went down shortly after taking off from West Houston.